Hi everyone. Today I want us to talk about something that is very important to myself and to a lot of parents out there who find it really hard to give their children the independence that they deserve. Sometimes it's just because it's really difficult and we have so many things going on. So I'm going to break it down into three different groups so that we can understand, learn together. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment for me. I will definitely answer you as quickly as possible. So, one of the skills that we're going to talk about today is financial independence. Now, I know how hard, okay, it can be to work with a child, for example, who is on the spectrum, who's autistic, to be able to be financially independent. However, it's not impossible. It works and it is something we need to give a huge platform to. Okay. So, because financial independence is something, like I said, that you need to start really early, it's important to know what stages and what to do. So, there are three stages. There are baby stage, there is the teen stage, and there is the adult stage. So there are three stages in which you can teach your child financial independence. One of the stages is very crucial, and that's the middle stage. That's the teen stage when they're teenagers because they have so many things going on. But the moment we start really early, they would be able to grasp everything that we want them to understand. Well, not everything, but most of it, which is the goal. So, financial independence is a skill that would help your child to be able to purchase, will be able to grow, and will be able to identify when they're being taken advantage of financially. Okay, so the baby stage is what we're going to start with. Okay, so, first of all, babies. How can you teach babies, especially when they're autistic or they're nonverbal or they have selective mutism? Well, it's not impossible, okay? But I will teach you one of the easiest ways that I have worked with and the method that I have trained a lot of mothers to try, and they have tried it and it has been very successful. So, first thing you have to remember is don't use too much, don't do too much. And what I mean by this is we're so eager to allow them to learn something, or we want them to learn something, but unfortunately they're not grasping it as quickly as we want them to. We should already know that is one of the challenges we're going to face as teachers or parents working with children with any form of disability or difficulty. So, however, the first thing I would say is teach them how to count with their fingers. Once you can teach them how to count with their fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you have actually done the hardest job of it all. And the moment your child can count with their fingers, they would understand the routine of saying, for example, five take away three or three take away two. It will be easier for them to master that maths. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. Once you're able to get them to count with their hands, fine. If not, I wanted to mention this actually from the beginning. Some children learn through what they enjoy. So if your child enjoys his visual aid, for example, tablets or videos in any form, television, please use that to teach them because it is whatever they're comfortable with that we work with. So understand your child and take up that skill of teaching them financial independence by counting 1 to 10. The moment you can get that, I'm serious, parents out there, you have gotten to the height of it. Okay, now I want to also mention that when I say 1 to 10, I'm not talking about the children who are really brilliant. Okay, for them, they don't have as much difficulties at the baby stage as children who find it a bit more difficult to understand the world around them. Okay, so these children sometimes have been left behind educationally. So I'm teaching you skills that would not take you 2, 3 hours. Okay, these skills are something you can start with by just 15-20 minutes every single day, and you can help them grow and find that independence. That is the goal at the end of the day. They're able to have their independence. So, we're not talking about children who are super with maths and English and geography. No, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the children that find going to school really difficult. And I'm talking about children that find understanding facial cues or understanding the languages we use today very hard. I want to be able to help the children that a lot of people don't understand. Okay, so these are the children that I'm talking about right now. Okay, so the second thing I want us to talk about is the teenage stage. The teenage stage is one that is very practical in nature. So you have a situation where your child is about 13, 14, and you want to engage him into the society. Now, before I go on, I want to say a big shout out to a lot of business owners that I have personally spoken to, and they have agreed to have children come into their shops for practical lessons. Okay? In Nigeria, in the UK, shout out to all of you that really have helped children to come in, buy things, and you give them the right change. Thank you guys so much. So, when I say the teenage stage is what I mean by the teenage stage is a stage where you have your child, okay, and you give your child certain instructions before you take them into shops, okay? And the reason you do this is because you want them to be able to engage with business owners, to be able to pay for things, to be able to know what amount of money should come back to them, to be able to create a form of language that they understand, and if you understand, you can help them to interpret that language. Okay? If this isn't making a lot of sense to you or you don't understand, please jot it down in the comments and I will send you a private message to break it down a little bit more so you understand what I'm doing, okay, or what I'm saying. So, a situation where, as the parent, you go and meet the business owners and you speak with them and you say, look, I have a child with ASD, and he's not able to communicate very well, but I want to see how I can help him to become financially independent. I just want him to come into the shop for a few minutes, buy something, and see if he's going to expect the right change back or know that he's getting the right change back. Okay, so once you're able to do this, you then move on to the actual practice of this. So this is where you now take the child, you give the child a few pep talks and say, okay, darling, I need you to go and buy me biscuit, okay, and this biscuit I am giving you £5, and I need you to get back with £3. Okay, so you've given the child exactly what you want the child to do. You give a hug, always give a hug, and then you send the child in. Now, once the child is in, you do not go in, you do not interfere. You allow the child to try it out and come back with whatever results that they can. Now, in a situation where they come back and they don't always come back with the expected results, please do not panic. It happens. I think even with we that were neurotypical, to be honest, we sometimes come back with the wrong change and we don't realize it. So they are not exempted from mistakes. It will happen, and it has happened in the past. So they're not the first to make a mistake. So and for teachers in schools, please, you can also try this method out just to be able to engage your pupils, your children, in a very active form of learning, where someone creates a scene that is an everyday scenario. Okay. And then at the end of the day, these children continue to become comfortable in their environment. So that's the second stage. Okay, that's when they're teenagers and they're going to enjoy their independence. Okay. So the third stage is when they're adults, and at this stage, as parents, we are probably getting older, and we want them to be able to fly. We want them to be able to grow. We want them to be able to enjoy everything good in this life. So one of the things I would say at this stage is, now every child is not the same. We already know that as teachers and as parents of children with special needs. However, some children, we can sense that they're really enjoying this practical lesson. And when they are, we can develop that skill and make them business owners. Okay? We can move them higher than what a lot of people think that they can do. We can actually have a business for them or open a business for them and silently from the background be managing this business for them until they are strong enough to do it themselves. And I will say this, I have seen it work. I have seen a lot of children who, for some reason, they become some of the best business owners we have today who are on the spectrum. And I'm not talking about the so called high functioning autistic children. I'm talking about the children that a lot of people sadly have given up on. Okay. So when they're adults, think about what is best for them. What do they want? What is that thing that we can notice about them that, okay, I can develop in them? If it means that they have learned the skill to the extent that they can become business owners, please don't hesitate to open a business for them. Please. If it is not possible that this particular skill is as functional as I am describing right now, then you can give them the opportunity to find a job. Now, I would like to say, it's a lot, but I would like to say that in the field of education, there are so many teachers or teaching assistants that have this skill, they have the experience, and they are willing to share with a lot of children out there. So, when it comes to jobs, there are jobs out there, there are employers that will take your child on board if they know that they have this skill, they possess this skill. I am one of them. I would employ a child, an adult, pardon me, an adult who understands financial independence. There are schools that have employed teachers with cerebral palsy. There are companies that have employed the visually impaired. So your child can also get a job. And please, anybody who is watching this video at this moment and you have an employment and you're willing to employ anybody with difficulties or disabilities, please reach out to me because you are doing the society a wonderful thing. You are really helping out in the growth of inclusion and the growth of self esteem for a lot of our children. So, those are the three stages that I just talked about. We have the baby stage, we have the teenage stage, and we have the adult stage. And at each of these stages, please, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, teach them the gentle maths that you can. Develop that gentle math into something that is very strong, understanding, something that is very relatable to people, and let us see them shine. And I will see you in my next video.